Welcome to a, wait a minute, let me get the fuzzies off the microphone. Welcome to a Wayward Widow's Path. I put my sweater on because I'm cold. Bumped the heat up to 70. It's freezing here. It's like, well, it's windy too. That doesn't help. It's typical November weather now. We're finally getting to like where we should be. I just made a coffee. My name is Poet. Hi, welcome. Long story short, I'm 65. I lost my partner in February. He was 71. He had MSA, which is multiple system atrophy. I was his 24/7 caregiver. He was ill for 4 years. It was awful. And I was alone for 6 months, and I'm in a new relationship. And we just got engaged not that long ago. Just very recently we got engaged, and we don't have a date, and we're looking at early next year, I think, and so that's it. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 2nd floor, and we have 1 bathroom. I do. It's my apartment. I'm here by myself. I live alone. So that's it in a nutshell. I want to talk about, what is today? Thursday the 14th. Tomorrow we're halfway through November. Who would have thought, right? You guys know you can always count on me to talk about the dates, the times, how much time is left in a month before we get into the next one. This is our 3rd Burr month, September, October, November. We're halfway through our 3rd Burr months. There's only 4 Burr months, right? So what, in like another week, give or take, we're almost a month from Christmas. The whole thing is insane to me. Time is just like going like this. What's new? I go tomorrow to pick up my contact lenses, my trial pair. I just got to pop them in and see how they feel, and then they want me to wear them like a day or two, and if they're okay, then I can order a tinted color if I want to. I don't know how much that's going to cost. I didn't ask. I'll find out. I didn't do anything more on my gem art for like a couple days because life just got in the way. Do you ever have life get in the way? Yeah, life has gotten in the way. There's nothing to tell here. There's weird appointments. Something happened with my internet yesterday. Okay. I tried to do something on my computer. Everything was so slow, like nothing would load. I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I just didn't deal with it. And then I tried to go on my chart to find out about my therapy appointment, and my chart was blank. So I called my psychiatrist's office, talked with the woman. I said, I can't get on my chart, and she's like, I don't know why. I can give you the number for the help desk. So I didn't bother to call the help desk, but then my TV, my Roku was slow. I took my chart off my phone and put it back on, and it said it was going to take 1 hour and 42 minutes to load. Like, that's insane because I have the fastest internet. So I unplugged the router modem thing box and unscrewed it and let it sit for 3 minutes and hooked it back up, and it did a reboot, and everything just went through just like that. So I got my chart back. But I found out that I had the wrong appointment time. I don't know, everything was messed up. So that appointment got canceled. I didn't have therapy. And I tried to cancel December, and I tried to just like stop therapy, but they told me that I have to have a paper signed by my therapist and my psychiatrist to say that they feel like I'm done with therapy, because it's a hospital policy that if you're seeing a psychiatrist, you need to be in therapy. So the only other thing I can do is I believe my therapist said we could stretch appointments out for like once every 3 months, which that's totally doable for me. So I have a December appointment, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to sit down with my therapist, and I've never seen her face to face. So I'm going to go in and sit down with her, and we're going to hash this all out. I want to talk about emotions, and I want to talk about what I felt, because I don't think I talked about this, what I felt after my partner passed away. And I think it's really important because you go through all of these stages, or I did anyway. He was 71. And you know, when the nurse came in, because I had hospice the last 5 days of his life. And when the nurse came in at like 9:15 at night, he died around 8:30. She came in 9:15, maybe 9:30. And she came up the staircase here, and he was in the hospital bed. And she said, "I'm so sorry for the loss of your father." I'm like, excuse me? I said, that's my partner. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. He just looks so old." Really? Well, I said, "He looks dead to me. You want to go listen?" That really happened. Okay, let's talk emotions. She declared him dead. I knew he was dead. And I was in this until they took his body out. These two wonderful gentlemen, so kind. I was here, but I wasn't here. Like, I was just watching, almost as though I was watching a movie. I watched them wrap him up. They asked if it was okay if they covered his face. I said yes. It was like I was watching a movie. And I was watching it all happen, and I followed them out the door, and I watched them take him out to the car, and it was like a movie. And then the nurse left after like another 15 minutes. She's like, "Do you have anybody with you that can come stay with you?" I said, "No." She said, "Are you going to be okay?" I said, I don't know, I guess. Like, that, if I said no, what does that mean? Somebody's going to miraculously appear? So she left, and I remember coming back in the living room and looking around, and I remember getting in this, like, it was almost like a weird cleaning frenzy, where I just went around and picked up like the cups and the spoons and the wipes and the things that nobody could ever use again, and throwing everything in the trash. It was like I couldn't look at any of that. And then I just stopped, and then I felt like there was a haze, like a fog. I'm standing in the middle of the living room, and it's just deathly quiet, no pun intended. And I felt like I was in this fog, like, what just happened, and why, and how, and the fog just stayed a little while. And then after the fog, which stayed a while, I remember going into bed and laying in the bed and realizing that I didn't have to listen for him to holler out. I didn't have to listen for him to ring the little bell. Like, he was gone. And at some point there was this sense of relief in me. Like, okay, you can rest, poet. You can rest now for a second. And I had this sense of relief. And that stayed with me for a little while. And then the guilt came. This massive amount of guilt. How could you feel relieved? You should be ashamed. Like, I just loaded myself with guilt. So I experienced that for a while. And then I went on into, okay, let's get this done mode. I called up the hospital supply place to get the bed out of the living room. And then I started making lists. And I went into just focus, listing everything I needed to do, every place I needed to call, every place I needed to email, every single thing I needed to do. I called his family. I went down the list. And I stayed in that mode of not feeling anything except get this stuff done. It was like, you got to get it done. Get it done. And I kept checking off the boxes. Some places wanted a copy of his death certificate. Some places didn't ask for anything. Some places, one credit card wanted an original. I needed to snail mail them an original. And so one thing after another, going down to the bank, like it was a constant. It took me about a month, give or take, to make sure I got everybody. I mean, I was so fanatical about it. I even called the library to let them know that to delete his library card. I called the dentist. I called his eye doctor. I called, like, and then I just stopped when I checked the last box. And I'm thinking, now what? What do I do? Then it was, should I go through his things? At what point do you start going through the things? Like his bathrobe, like all the stuff, you know? And so little by little, over a couple of months, I would look at some things. I shipped things to Texas. I shipped things to California. I shipped things to Tennessee, to family. That was needed to be done. I did. And then it was like, okay, what do I do with some stuff? I had to figure out how I wanted this place to look now. I had to get comfortable walking through my living room knowing that he died in here. I had to get used to the silence. Everything felt differently. Going into a grocery store, I had to figure out how to buy groceries for one person. I had to figure out how to plan my meals, how to even tell if I was hungry. I had to figure out how comfortable I was going in the bathroom to shower, knowing I was in here by myself, and was I going to be scared? I already have panic and anxiety as it is. And so you go on, and I was like, I went through all of those, okay, got to figure this out. And you do, and you keep figuring it out. And then there were days where I didn't get out of bed. Like I would spend 2 days in bed. I would just cry. I would sip water. I would go to the bathroom. I would sip more water. I would cry. I would sleep. And then I would get up and I would get some little something to eat, and my weight would drop, and I would be like, okay, what do you weigh now? Like 90 pounds, 89 pounds. What do I do with the rings? Where do I put the rings? All this stuff. And then I started talking to other widows and other people who've gone through divorces and people who are starting over and trying to figure it all out. And we're all going through these different emotions. And then and I turned nothing on in here. I turned no music on and no TV. Like I couldn't stand external sound for months. Like couldn't do it, could not do it. The only thing I could hear was like my YouTube videos. Like I would watch, I have a bunch of people I'm subscribed to, and I would listen. But I couldn't like turn the TV on and try and get involved with a movie or something. It wasn't until I hit like month 5 that I was okay enough to try to watch a half a movie. And then by month 6, I was like, okay, I want to meet someone. Like I don't want to do this. Like this is not for me. And then it's the anxiety and the trying to figure out what's next and going and starting that whole chapter, which is a whole new set of emotions. Like, are you ready? Are you not ready? How do you have all this loss over here that stays with you, and then you meet someone new and you've got all these feelings over here, and you're trying to just find this balance. It's hard. And there's really good moments, and there's really sad moments, and there's like really good memory moments, and there's stuff. And nobody teaches you any of this. Like this is not taught in school. You got to get it figured out on your own, right? And everybody mourns and grieves differently. Everybody has their own timetable. Some people have a lot of people around them. Some people initially have a lot of people around them, and then people go away. A lot of times people will say, if you need something, let me know. Most people will not ask for help. But you know what I found from most of the people that I talk with, the really brave women and men that I've talked with that have gone through this, they get through it. Like in stages and steps, they get through it. But the amount of emotion, the different emotions that I went through, like those first 6 months, it was like crazy that you could go through so many different emotions and function, even though I probably wasn't even here. Like, you know, I was like on autopilot. Thank God I worked in the hospital for as long as I did, because all of that was like charting and getting things done. And the same thing with home health care when I was with Beata. It's like getting things done. Leave no stone unturned, and so you get things done. And so that's how I got through it. But for those of you going through it, you know what I'm talking about with the emotions. It's crazy, but you go through it and you come out the other side, and then there's a whole new set of emotions. So it's 17 minutes. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to end with what I said the other day. Sky wrote this, and I keep it because it's a good ending, I think, for my videos. Sky was and is a Soto Zen Buddhist. Does the rain fall with a purpose? The rain does not fall with a purpose. We assign a purpose to its falling. The rain just falls. We should be like the rain. So I'm going to end with that. Be like the rain. Just fall. Just be like the rain.